The following chamber member organizations generously supported this event and made it possible to bring it to our members and to the community. Bloomington Women in Leadership, which is a program within the chamber. Duke Energy, Indiana University, Bill C. Brown Associates, the Bloomington Health Foundation, Building Associates, Inc., the City of Bloomington, German American Bank, IU Health Bloomington, Ivy Tech Community College Bloomington, Nature's Way, and Simtra Biopharma Solutions. And also thanks very much to the Monroe Convention Center team for the use of this space for today's event and the excellent service they always provide to our community and civic organizations. Let's give all these organizations a round of applause, please. Also want to recognize our elected officials that are here today. And we'll start with the Town of Ellettsville Clerk Noel Conyer, Bloomington City Council members Isabel Piedmont Smith, Andy Ruff, and Sidney Zulik, and its President Isabel Piedmont Smith and Vice President Andy Ruff. Thanks for joining us. Monroe County Commissioners Penny Githens and Commissioners President Julie Thomas. Monroe County Council members Marty Hawk, Jeff McKim, and Cheryl Munson. Van Buren Township Trustee Rita Barrow. State Senator Shelley Yoder. State Representative Dave Hall. State Representative Matt Pierce. And of course, the Monroe County Auditor Bree Gregory. And of course, the star of today's program, Bloomington Mayor Carrie Thompson. Let's give all of our elected leaders a round of applause, please. And then finally, the Chamber is very fortunate to be led by an outstanding group of dedicated business and community leaders who serve on our board of directors. It is an extraordinary privilege for me and our team at the Chamber to work alongside such committed and dedicated community leaders on our board. In attendance today are several of these individuals who I'd like to personally recognize. Leslie Abshire, Vice President for the Boys and Girls Club of Bloomington, Attorney David Ferguson of Ferguson Law, Dr. Virginia Gathiri, IU professor and owner of local downtown business Popcorn, Kernels with a Twist. And by the way, you got to check them out. Those treats are terrific. Jennifer Kelly, Vice President of Simtra Biopharma Solutions, Amy Ketchum, President of TASIS, Dan Peterson, Vice President of Cook Group, Andy Walker, broker-owner of Remax Acclaimed Properties, and Alyssa Woolard, Senior Project Manager at Simtra Biopharma Solutions. Please join me in giving a round of applause to the Chamber's Board of Directors, please. All right, I am now pleased to welcome Leslie Abshire, who will introduce Mayor Thompson to the stage. Leslie serves on the Chamber's Board of Directors as our treasurer and is a member of our executive committee. Many of us know Leslie very well through her professional role as the Vice President of Resource Development for the Boys and Girls Clubs of Bloomington, where she's worked since 2014. It's my great pleasure to welcome my friend and Chamber Board member, Leslie Abshire, to the stage for an introduction of our mayor.
Thanks, Eric, and good afternoon, everyone. I have the pleasure of introducing Mayor Carrie Thompson, and I have a script which I promise I'll read, but I want to share a quick little anecdote about Carrie first. So Carrie did some coaching before she launched her campaign for mayor, and I was a beneficiary of that coaching. I got to meet with her a couple of times, and those of you that know Carrie know that she is direct. She does not mince words, but she is also kind and compassionate. And that is a wonderful combination, not only in a leader, but in a person. And it's a unique combination to find. And so I was kind of struggling with my leadership style, and Carrie was helping me out, and I was sort of doubting myself and trying to imitate other people and try to be a leader that looked like someone else instead of myself. And in her direct way, she told me to cut that out. which I really appreciated. But in her kind and compassionate way, she told me that no one can lead like I can, that I have a unique set of skills and abilities, and if I don't bring that, I am robbing our community of what it is that I can bring. And that has really changed the trajectory of my career. So Carrie is not only a leader, but she's a leader of leaders, and I'm really honored to be able to introduce her today. We're blessed to have her as mayor, too. So after spending her career working to build better communities, Carrie Thompson became Bloomington's 33rd mayor on January 1st, 2024, bringing change, progress, and a new approach to City Hall. She's an experienced nonprofit executive who has managed large organizations, complex projects, and multi-million-dollar budgets. Carrie has a proven record of bringing people together to get things done. As a former CEO of Habitat for Humanity of Monroe County, which you probably all encountered her there many times, she took an organization that was in debt and built it into sophisticated operation, created unprecedented growth, a $6 million mortgage portfolio, and hundreds of thousands of dollars in investments that resulted in building homes for more than 400 people, which is really remarkable. Following 20 years of service with Habitat, Carrie became the executive director of Indiana University's Center for Rural Engagement in 2018. In that role, she led efforts to create results-driven initiatives that improve the quality of life and economic vitality of rural communities. In her time at the center, she expanded her reach into 50 counties, impacting 20,000 Hoosiers through 300 different projects. As our mayor, Carrie is focused on using her expertise to address some of the city's long-neglected problems. Her priorities include addressing the lack of affordable housing, surprise, surprise, tackling the drug and mental health crisis plaguing downtown, better assisting our unhoused neighbors, creating a more inclusive, accessible, and responsive government, and building a strong community relationship that will advance the progress that Bloomington desperately needs. Carrie's also an avid cyclist, in case you did not know. You often can see her biking around town and at events in the community. She served on boards at Indiana University Credit Union, Indiana Habitat for Humanity, Habitat for Humanity's International U.S. Council, and the Tithe Advisory Board. She's a graduate of Randolph-Macon Women's College, and she's married to IU physics professor Babek. And Carrie and Babek have 4 children, and they live in the Elm Heights neighborhood. So let's all welcome Mayor Carrie Thompson to the stage.
Well, Leslie already took the most meaningful thing I have to say to our business leaders, which is don't rob people of your own personal leadership style, because we need you here in Bloomington doing exactly what you're doing, exactly how you're doing it, and we need great collaboration. And thanks so much, Eric, for all of the thank yous. But could we also give Eric a round of applause for his incredible leadership at the Chamber? And I also want to thank the Convention Center service team that has provided us a great lunch today. They work so hard and often fall to the background, but we see you and we appreciate the food you've provided us and the great service, so thank you. Everyone in this room, and it was so nice to come into this room full of friends and new acquaintances as well. You all have been working so hard to create a vibrant, dynamic Bloomington, and really to create this unique community that we love. And it is just an incredible honor and a humbling privilege to serve as your mayor now. I think it is my 93rd day in office, not that I count, but next Tuesday night, at the end of my 100th day in office, and also right after the eclipse, we will celebrate those first 100 days with a State of the City address, and that's happening at 7 p.m. at the Buzzkirk Chumley. That's free. It's going to be fun. We're going to get you in and out in an hour. It's not going to be an interminable government meeting, so that's my commitment to you all, is that any event that I am in charge of organizing, we're going to try to get you in and out in 60 minutes. So I hope that you will join us, and I will be talking a lot more at that event about my first 100 days in office, but I wanted to share with you all what we have done so far in our first 100 days, and also give you a glimpse into the future as we start our next 100 days, and then the 100 after that. And as you may know, when I was running for mayor, I had never run for office before. I had been an active member of our community in many different ways. I voted every single time, but I wasn't really involved in politics. I spent my career, as you just heard, at Habitat, at IU, and most importantly, I was and am a mom. And that gives you a unique perspective on what you want in the community now and in the future. And every parent in this room can also tell you that becoming a parent and being a parent makes you a visionary, right? Not only for those kids that you're raising, but for their friends, for the community that you are leaving to them. And when I looked around at our community, I saw so much opportunity. Yes, problems that we needed to solve, but also just tremendous opportunity. And so I decided to run for mayor to fix the things that I didn't like so much. And in these first few months in office, that's what I've been focused on. And the most important thing that I have done in this first 100 days is build a completely incredible team. Our cabinet is unmatched. Many of them are here at the front table, but I know they're sort of interspersed. If you haven't met them, they are the leaders that are carrying us through these next 4 years and that are setting the table for our next 40 years. You should know them. Many of them have been city servants for a long time, some of them in government, others in the for-profit sector, in the innovation sector, in other ways. You should know them because they are carrying us forward, and I am just so grateful to be able to work with such a talented team. As promised in the campaign, I've worked hard to welcome in new people on our boards and commissions as well as in our cabinet. And that's because I believe that we need all perspectives and all voices at the table when decisions are being made. That includes the resident advisory groups I've named on the Showers West project, Hopewell, and some others that I will announce next week in our State of the City. The more people in the room participating in their government, the better. I've also been getting out of City Hall quite a bit to talk to the people I work for directly, our residents. It's not only at events like this that I like to show up, but I'm also doing monthly town halls around the city. I visited neighborhood association meetings, sat with employees in every single city department, and have met with the leaders of the arts, faith, and nonprofit communities, among many others. I'm doing this because I want to build a truly open and accessible city government that builds partnerships to tackle the challenges Bloomington faces. I want to be the leader of a city that does things with you, not to you. And I want to co-create our future together, all of us. To that end, one of the first things I did as mayor was to order an independent audit of the city's finances. Our residents really need and deserve to know where we stand as a city, and when completed, this will give us the information needed to move forward responsibly. We've also begun to peel back the onion on some processes in city government with the goal of eliminating red tape and simplifying cumbersome processes so that it's easier to engage with the city. It should not confuse you to walk into City Hall. We should be able to guide you well to accomplish the goals that you have in mind to improve our city together. Housing is economic development, and the provision of housing targeted to people who work in Bloomington and our region is critical to our economic vitality. With our new leadership in housing and neighborhood development and in the planning department, we will now take a deep dive into improving our housing ecosystem, implement the long-dormant housing studies, and create a clear and actionable strategic plan that addresses our housing crisis. I've also been working with our faith community and nonprofit organizations to develop a comprehensive plan for dealing with our growing street unhoused population. There's a lot of work to be done here, and there's no easy answer. 10 years ago, many of us in this room may have thought that street homelessness had little to do with business. I'm not sure that any of us would say that now. This crisis we are experiencing on our streets affects our entire community. We're Bloomington, and we can and will do better. We'll do better for those who are living in crisis and better for the safety of our community. As you know, I've been personally involved in clearing some of the encampments because of the threats they pose to public safety and health. Those were some of my toughest days. We will have more of them. But I can promise you that as we move forward, we will move forward with compassion. We will protect the dignity of all of those involved. And we'll do this and all of our acts in a way that keeps all of us safe. Bloomington is too good a community to allow any of our neighbors to live outside. With the leadership of our nonprofit partners and social service agencies, I am confident we will do better. We will also continue to find new ways to address the challenges of mental health and substance use that we have throughout our community. This also means new partnerships, new approaches, and it means investing in those efforts. Again, the city will rely on our experts to help develop and institute a plan that works. As mayor, the safety, livability, and economic vibrancy of this community are top of my mind every day. We can and we will do it through open, honest conversation, by keeping focused on issues that we can actually impact, and by challenging assumptions, providing feedback, and making each other's ideas better. As I join you today, I don't have all of the answers yet, but I can tell you how we're going to find them. It's by listening, learning, and by working with anyone who will work with us to develop and implement Bloomington's next great chapter. I remain excited about the opportunity to lead the city and partner with each of you to make this place that we all love even better for our kids and our grandkids. Thank you, and I'm looking very forward to your questions.
Hello, everyone. I'm Christopher MG, the Chamber's Director of Advocacy and Public Policy. I want to thank you for your insights, Mayor Thompson. Could we give her one more round of applause on that? In just a moment, we will be doing a question and answer with the mayor. If you have a question for the mayor, write those on a question cards that should be on your table. And if I had one right now, I'd be holding it up. When you're ready, one of our award-winning staff members will come by and get that card for you and hand it to the moderator. Speaking of the moderator, no stranger to chamber events, Paul Helmke will be doing the question and answer today. Paul is the former president and CEO of the Brady Center and a 3-term mayor of Fort Wayne, Indiana, now a professor of practice at the O'Neill School of Public and Environmental Affairs, and a founding director of Civic Leaders Living Learning Center at IU, easy for me to say. Let's welcome Paul to the stage.
We on? Okay, great.
You are.
Well, okay. And the mayor would like some water here. Thank you, Mayor, for being here today. Thank you, Chamber, for putting on this event. I'm always excited to be able to talk to another mayor and hear what it's going like. You sound like you're having fun, right?
I'm having a blast, except for my microphone.
Okay.
Can you hear me? No. Yes, now you can. Okay. Yes, I'm having a blast. In fact, I was reflecting last week, Mayor Helmke, that you moderated my favorite debate of the entire series of death by debate in the primary. And that was with our Community Council on Accessibility and Stonebelt. And so last week I got to go back and do a Q&A with Stonebelt and just had such fun with their great questions and hanging out with those great people. So these are the things, the very fun things I get to do as mayor.
So you mentioned that you're almost at the 100-day mark. You're doing your State of the City in a week. What's been the biggest surprise so far?
The biggest surprise is I think being mayor is like its own Monster energy drink. It just keeps you going all the time. I was in a Zoom with this group of other mayors yesterday, and somebody said, what do you wish somebody had told you about being mayor before you were mayor? And my favorite answer was pack a lunch. So it's surprising how much energy that the people of Bloomington can give to you, and just really heartened and energized by the ideas and the compassion and the hard work that people are willing to offer to their community.
I told people that I love the job as mayor, that the highs were high, the lows were low. It was like being on a roller coaster. What's been the lows so far?
Moving homeless encampments. Yeah, there is nothing like being with somebody who tells you their story and tells you that they have been living outside for 7 years, and that we haven't found a better solution yet. And somebody who also tells you, by the way, every single one of them, that they want to work hard to do something different. And those are hard days.
About the high, what's been the biggest high? Other than being sworn in, or what?
Getting to talk to you today? I don't know. It's, you know, there have been so many highs. Last week we had a topping off ceremony at the Forge. Thank you to former Mayor John Fernandez for your leadership there. I'm really excited about what's happening in the Trades District. What we know is going to happen right here at the Convention Center, so that's bubbling up. These are some incredibly high days. And I have to tell you that with each new cabinet member that we name, our team just gets better and better. We have a really good synergy at City Hall. It's a fun place to be.
Thank you for all the questions coming in. I'm just, table one, for some reason, wanted to know which department head was your favorite. So you know, they're.
I'm compelled to answer Shar Paycheck in HR. What else? With a name like Paycheck, she's born for the job.
And I'll get to some of these questions in a second. I brought some of my students along today, and I know the IU student body is a large part of the city population, an important part of the city. You didn't mention anything about relations with the university, specifically in your opening remarks. What are your thoughts? When I was a student here, we never saw the mayor. How are you going to keep the connections to the IU and the student body?
Isn't it great that in a listing of problems, I didn't list the university? The university leadership and I are working really well together. As you all know, I had the opportunity to work at the university and have a great open door, both with President Witten and with Provost Shrivastov, and many of their team members. And so, you know, I'm looking forward to what we can do together and continuing to build on the pathway that we have already paved. We should be lifting one another's boat, right? The city is not successful without this incredible university, and certainly without a great quality of life and a great safe city, the university cannot be as great as it is. And so my view is we lift one another up. So we should be working together.
I know one of the challenges I always had as mayor was people know who the mayor, generally people are going to know who the mayor is. They know what a mayor they think does. But there are a lot of other units of government that you have to deal with. Not only in the city, you've got to deal with the city council, you've got to deal with the county, you've got to deal with the state legislature. How's that gone so far, all those different relationships?
Well, I think we have started off on a great foot with working with the council. Of course, we have some of our great state legislators here in the room with us. I'm looking forward very much to continuing to work on those relationships. And, as we move through the convention center, I always look for a good sandbox to play in with somebody. And that is going to be our greatest playground for the city and county relationship. It has to be really active and dynamic. And as we're finding it, it means that we have to talk a lot. And so the commissioners and I are talking at least weekly. I have a call with at least one of them, and that's our closest tie, obviously.
About the jail.
How about jail? We're looking forward to a solution for our county jail. It's, as we all know, it's not in great shape. I am going to be as best a partner as I can. It is the county's decision where they want to put that jail. I'm not going to meddle in their business. I am one who really believes in the lines of government and staying in my lane, but I want to be the best partner I can be.
And any idea that it should be close to where services are provided, closer to downtown, or not? Not something you want to get involved with yet.
Well, I think the county has already assessed that, and they have recommendations for a targeted and prioritized list for location and proximity to services.
In Fort Wayne, they built the jail downtown, and they put the ugly side of it right where the most people drove by, next to one of our parks. So hopefully you'll work together better than we did in Fort Wayne.
Ashkenazi students to do a great mural.
You talked about homeless, the unhoused population, subsidized housing, affordable housing, all these issues. This is something that's an issue nationally. We don't have enough housing in the country. Prices are going up. I know you touched on it, and I'm sure you'll touch on it in the State of the City. Anything more we can talk about today with that?
Well, this is what I would say. In Pictionary, this is an all play. You cannot sit back and wait for your government to solve this problem. We need business partnership. We need nonprofit partnership. We need expert leadership from the university who has researched many of these issues. We need all hands on deck. At the city, we will be developing a very tactical housing plan based on these housing studies. But this is a complex challenge, and it's going to take all of us working together to create the Bloomington that we really want to see in the future, which is a Bloomington that can house the people who work here.
Here's one that touches on housing, but gets into environmental issues too. With the goal of expanding affordable housing, will the city encourage or assist with the inclusion of solar panels in new construction?
So we have several programs through our Economic and Sustainable Development Department that work on many different climate initiatives, and of course in our planning code. In our UDO, there are incentives for climate-related projects. So we already have some ways, but increasingly, I think we all want to look at alternative energy sources.
Switching to traffic patterns, which is always something that it's things that people deal with daily are the ones that get on their nerves the most, I know. What's the latest on the attempt to make the streets safer? I know one of the goals for the city is no accidents or no deaths in the future. What's happening with stop signs? Will the city be putting stop signs back? No turn on reds, all these sort of things, Ed.
That's a whole lot of questions. And this is the week to ask those questions because it's Safety Week in Bloomington, where we're really focused on our Safe Streets initiative. Last night at City Hall, we had a great event, which I couldn't attend, called Taco Bout Safety with free tacos. And all week there are other events. I do want to flag for people, we have the coolest map up right now on our city website. And you can go, it's an interactive map, and you can flag areas of the city that are unsafe on streets, sidewalks, et cetera, dangerous intersections. So we're using that to improve our plans to increase safety.
Stop signs particularly, do we need more? Do we need less?
Yeah, so that's a transportation planning question, and it really, I would have to talk to the person who's asking the question to ask, what stop signs are you talking about? I have learned a lot about stop signs and greenways since in the last 93 days. And I have learned that the data says that stop signs don't decrease speed. They do create a stop, but people tend to speed up in between them. So we are, if you have questions about a particular stop sign, I would ask you to contact us, and we can answer that more directly.
There's a question about public safety, both Switchyard Park, obvious safety concerns there, as well as downtown. Apparently, some surveys have shown that people feel less safe downtown than they did a couple years ago.
What is the question? Okay. What is the city doing?
Yeah, what can the city do to help increase public safety downtown, Switchyard Park, as well as feelings of public safety? Yeah.
So I am aware that people say that they feel less safe downtown. We've been working pretty hard on that, and my hope is that that's already improving. And this, again, public safety is an all play. If you see something, say something, or make a phone call. Don't just walk by. And it is in my intention list, but I haven't created a plan for how to get this done yet, that we really need a public safety plan for Bloomington that informs the public what to do in different situations, what number to call if you see something that may be an emergent danger but is not dangerous at the moment, versus what to do if you, for instance, hear gunshots. And the answer to that one, by the way, is always call the police. And you may laugh when I say that, but I am on a neighborhood listserv, and somebody posted that they thought they heard gunshots, and when I asked if anybody called the police, they said no. Call the police if you hear gunshots. So we have an incredible police department here, an incredible fire department, really the best in the state, I think. Those aren't the only tools for public safety, though. We also have the Stride Center. If somebody's experiencing crisis, help them call Stride or call for them. There's also 988, which is a number that you can call if you're not really sure how to get the help that somebody needs. So those are some tools. I will share with this group that the private property owners surrounding Switchyard are implementing a no trespass order on their property, and that's where we have a very significant encampment. Very transparently, I will tell you, when that encampment has to be moved, there's no great place for those people to go. So our team is working really hard to find answers before that camp has, those camps, it's multiple camps now, before those camps have to be moved. And really, again, no easy answers. We have some shelters with some shelter beds available, but we don't think there's going to be enough. And so We need to keep working as a community, and that means we need to work upstream on public safety. And what upstream means is we need to prevent our 3-year-olds from experiencing trauma. That's what that means, because everybody who's living in those camps, without exception that I have met, has experienced incredible lifelong trauma. So if we're not working with our 3-year-olds, we're missing the boat.
I know it probably feels like I'm jumping around on questions, but this is what the mayor's life is like. You have to be an expert on everything. You have to expect things to jump from one topic to another, from day to day, from hour to hour. So you're doing a good job. Can you provide an example of red tape that you mentioned in your opening remarks that might be eased? I know I've heard from some of the chamber folks that they feel there is too much red tape and are looking for ways to make it easier to do business. Any specifics that you can share?
I'll just pick on the new guy today. We have a new planning director, David Hiddle, who's been on the job for 2.5 days, I think. So one of the red tape examples that I would lift up is it's not very clear when you walk into the planning department with an idea of what you want to build, whether or not you can build it. And so making it very clear and trying to get as close to a one-stop shop as we can. You know, we have county partnerships with the building department, et cetera, so it's never going to be, or right now it's not going to be a one-stop shop. But we should be able to tell you or give you a pretty darn good idea, yes, this is going to fly, as is, or yes, and you have to add these things, or no, you just can't do that there. So that's an example of red tape that I would love to lift back and try to get to a place where people really know very transparently. That it's harder than you think to do that because our code has so many layers on it for great reason. But we were joking ahead of this meeting that our former interim planning director has the whole con plan and the UDO memorized. And I just said, well, she has to, because you have to know what conflicts with what to get an answer to any planning question. So that's an example of some red tape that I would like to lift.
I know when citizens used to complain to me about some of the red tape, I'd say, you know, you're dealing with it just maybe on this one-shot deal. I'm dealing with it every day. Trying to get things done or trying to get things figured out. It's a challenge when you're mayor. You've got to follow the rules, and you got to figure out what the rules are and whether they make sense. Question about annexation. Has your opinion changed on annexation since you've taken office? What's happening next on annexation?
My opinion has not changed on annexation. We have an annexation hearing at the end of this month, and we have done lots of work to get to where we are, and we know that the judge will make hopefully the best decision that they can.
I guess I'd raise the issue of engaging with the students. One of the questions is, are there plans to engage older citizens in government and the planning process particularly?
Yes, we have lots of older citizens engaged in the planning department already, and you know, my commitment is that I want everybody engaged. So whether you're old, whether you're young, come on, tell us your ideas.
The boards and commissions, you mentioned boards, that's an important job, filling all the boards and commission slot. How's that been going so far? Are you finding enough people? Do you need more people? How do you decide who to select?
That should have been my answer to what was surprising about city government. I think Deputy Mayor Knapp and I spent like most of the first 3 weeks in office, it seemed like, trying to sort out the boards and commissions process. It's just been a headache. And the Council Committee on Special Processes has been very helpful, and I think we're going to get to a better place. We do still have some openings. We posted openings yesterday. I do encourage anyone who has an interest in getting involved with their government to apply. We really are trying to get a different mix of faces, not all the same faces, not somebody serving on 4 different boards and commissions. We can have different voices at the table. And I'll just say that my observation right now is that we have a major gap in Asian American Pacific Islanders on our boards and commissions. We just don't have any representation of that group, but we have great representation in our community. So that's one gap that we very clearly have. So if you know someone who is considering work on one of the boards and commissions, please do encourage.
And there's a lot more boards to appoint things to than you realize, I think, before you get in office, too. That's
Me.
Here's a question that touches on the housing issue, but in terms of infrastructure, if there's going to be plans to expand housing, particularly outside the city limits or further away from the downtown, that raises the question of infrastructure. How do we provide, how does the city provide infrastructure, water, sewer, roads to that? What's that look like at this stage?
Yeah, so we are, we have a great utility services board, and we are doing analysis, especially given the fact that we just got a large development pass through Plan Commission. We have capacity for that development, but we want to make sure that we are planning ahead in our infrastructure. And of course, Hopewell is coming onto the map here very, very quickly, and we hope to have upwards of 750 units there. So our commitment is, our first job as your city is to keep you safe and give you the services that you need. So we will ensure that all city residents have those services, and that we know that we have a long trajectory into the future.
And speaking about infrastructure, I think I saw something in the paper the last couple of days that Kirkwood is not going to get closed for traffic and allow outdoor dining this year because of the infrastructure project. What is going on with Kirkwood? And I think one of the good things that came out of COVID was more outdoor dining, getting people outdoors. What's it going to look like this year?
Yes, so we have another big dig happening up right in the block by Sample Gates, and so that is changing traffic patterns enough that we're not able to close Kirkwood this year for outdoor dining. We are at council tonight. They are considering the parklets for other areas, and we also will take into consideration Kirkwood for the future.
You mentioned your town halls, that you've been doing your traveling town halls since getting elected. What are people bringing up when you out to the town hall?
Yeah, these town halls are so fun, so you should come. They bring up everything from, from planning, what's going on with new housing developments to, boy, I can't even remember some of the things that got brought up. Homelessness almost always comes up. People share ideas for how we can make our city better. And what's really cool about these town halls so far is that the majority of people who have showed up are not the same people that come to like every government meeting. There's new voices there, and that's a really great thing to see, is that getting into people's neighborhoods means that they actually come join us.
And I know you don't have to present a budget for another few months into the summer, basically. Any early thoughts on major? You mentioned that you're having an audit done. Any major thoughts on what budgetary changes you might be making, areas of emphasis or whatever?
For 25, we don't have major thoughts yet. We published a salary study that Crow did for us for the last administration. We published it when we got into office. And we will need to implement pieces of that. We have city staff that have just been really underpaid for a long time. It makes hiring and attracting talented folks to serve our city very difficult. So that'll definitely be part of our 25 budget.
I know you mentioned that you've been on a phone call with other newly elected mayors talking about everyone's first 100 days. What mayors or what cities do you think you can learn things from? Anybody particular yet, or any city particularly yet?
I'm a person who can learn something from anybody I meet. There are some smaller cities, some much bigger cities. What is really interesting to me is when I meet a mayor who really wants to take an innovative approach to a problem that it seems like everybody's experiencing but nobody has solved. And so I've learned, just yesterday I learned something from the mayor of New Rochelle, New York, and the mayor of Durham, North Carolina. So really being able to hang out with other mayors is instructive, and it also, I just have to say, it highlights for me how cool Bloomington is and how well we're doing.
Oh, at least there used to be a group of mayors that represented cities, towns that had major universities in it. Have you dealt with any? Durham obviously would be one. Have you dealt with others that the town gown issues that Bloomington has?
I actually am becoming quite tight with the mayor where University of Wisconsin is, and we happen to find each other at the U.S. Council of Mayors, and Deputy Mayor Knapp and a couple other staff members are going to go to the Big Ten Conference of government leaders in May. Is that right? I don't know when she's going. July.
So when do you get any time off? Have you had any time off yet?
Sundays. If you invite me to anything on Sundays, I'm going to say no. I'm trying to be disciplined with that family time. But it is otherwise it's been my great privilege to be able to be out in the community and meeting a lot of people.
What's the typical workday look like?
There is no typical workday. You've been a mayor before. So it varies every day, and that's what I love. There's plenty happening in City Hall, and as we know, plenty more happening outside of City Hall. I did think I was going to spend about 70% of my time outside of City Hall, and so far I have not met anywhere close to that goal, but I'm going to keep working on it.
The legislature, you mentioned we've got a few of our legislators here. Any big problems with the legislature this year? Anything that they did that you particularly liked or didn't like, or did they leave you alone enough to be able to get the job done?
Well, technically, they left me alone enough to get the job done. I am concerned about some of the issues that happen up at the legislature, and our public transit is at risk up there. My feeling is we need to do, John Connell's doing a great job with Bloomington Transit, and we really are a city of a size now that we can do much better. We could have a transit system that actually runs with frequency and gets people where they need to go. And we're looking forward to a faster east-west line soon. But some of the work at the legislature was really targeting some of that work. And I'm always concerned about our reproductive rights, and I hope folks in this room are as well. Indiana's stance on reproductive freedom for women really is harmful to businesses. It's hard to attract people to work here, whether you are whether you're a woman or not. You are bound to either be married to one, to love one in some way, and we need to be able to be sure that 51% of our population can have adequate health care.
You mentioned the eclipse coming up. Is the city prepared for whatever's going to happen on the eclipse? Are we going to have 300,000 people in town? And what are you going to do at 3 o'clock that afternoon?
I won't even share that. I got a funny text about the eclipse today. The city is prepared for what we think is going to happen on Monday. But the fact of the matter is, none of us know how many people are really going to come here. But I'll tell you, our commitment, obviously, first to public safety, and Chief Kerr and Chief Dekoff have done just a remarkable job planning for emergency services, and Beverly Callender Anderson has her team equipped to do some food and water provision to solar glasses and water provision to our street unhoused population. It's going to be hard to access lots of services. So those bases are covered. What I really hope, and I've heard all kinds of opinions on the eclipse, but Bloomington, let's show up for the people who are visiting and roll out the red carpet, and let's be as hospitable as we can. It's so cool that they're coming and that we are all experiencing this once-in-a-lifetime event together. I mean, it highlights our common humanity if you're not in awe of this incredible event. So let's roll out the red carpet and be hospitable. That's my goal.
And what are you going to do? You going to go with Captain Kirk at the stadium, or the roof of the city hall and look up? What's the plan?
So I've ordered a new trailer for my bike. I got rid of my bike trailer when my kids cumulatively exceeded 70 pounds. So I've replaced that bike trailer, and I'll be heading around town to where our city staff are to provide some refreshments and things like that, and then I'll be at Switchyard Park at 3 o'clock.
And I've run out of questions from the audience. If you've got any last-minute ones, I'll do them. But I could keep asking questions all day, which I won't. But how do people treat you different now that you're mayor? Do you sense that, I mean, do people recognize you? Is it different when you go into the restaurant or the grocery store? What's it like?
Well, I'll tell you, first of all, many people think everybody knows who the mayor is, but they don't. So most people don't know who the mayor is. But today I had to have some labs taken at the hospital, and this elder resident, as I was walking by, said, "Oh my God, that's our new mayor." And that just cracks me up. I mean, it just, I stopped and gave her a hug and talked to her for a minute, but it's sort of an odd experience for me. But it's also really cool because I get to meet people that I never would have met before.
People get excited sometimes, which is nice. I had a sixth grader
yesterday asked me if he could take a selfie with me so he could show his teacher that he met the mayor, and I thought, well, my kids don't want to take selfies with me, so sure.
You sometimes get one of the sort of lows that I had as mayor. I would do neighborhood walks every week. And I got to one house, and I had a staff person say, who's there? The mayor's here. And this little boy goes running out the door and into the street. He's real excited and comes back, and he's disappointed. And he said, "I thought they said the bear was here." So it's but it's not. I also had another one. I was in the grocery store with my wife, and she taught kindergarten. One of her students was there, and the mother of the student said, "Do you know who that is?" pointing at me. And shortly after I got elected, he said, "Well, yeah, that's Mrs. Helmke's husband." So they keep you humble. We've got a question. Historically, Bloomington's prided itself on the beauty of our community, flora, art, graffiti reduction. Last several years, that seems to have changed. Any thoughts at this time on how to help Bloomington bloom again?
Yes. So, our quality of place is what makes Bloomington Bloomington. And Jane Cooper-Smith was here. I think she had to leave for another meeting. But one of the reasons I'm so thrilled to have Jane leading our Economic and Sustainable Development Department is because she's been committed to Bloomington, to small business in Bloomington, to the way Bloomington looks and feels for her entire time here. And I know that with her leadership, Holly Warren and others in that department are doing really innovative things to ensure our arts thrive. And I also want to give a shout out to Adam Wason, who I thought I saw here. Adam's here. Adam does an incredible job, tending our streets and making sure that our environment looks good. And I don't think Tim Street's here with the Parks Department, but I have heard twice now, those flower boxes look so much better, and I have to agree. So we're paying attention to those details, and we will continue to. And if you want to partner with us, let me know, because we can use partnership. And I'll tell you, the last few summers, it's been really hard, evidently, to hire our seasonal workers for parks, and those are the folks who keep the weeds down and keep the beds looking good and things like that. And so if you can send us some great folks, we'll hire them. We need them on our team.
If you could change one thing with the snap of your fingers here in Bloomington, what would it be?
I would solve homelessness. That's it. If we can do that, and we can, we will have a tremendous ripple effect. And we can, Bloomington. We can be the best at that, and we can serve our people.
Give you a chance for one last word. What do you want these people to do to help make Bloomington better?
Well, I think Leslie gave us those words earlier. Offer us your gifts. If you're not sure if you're ready to lead, let me just assure you, your city needs you. So step up and raise your hand. And if you've already made it, if you're already a leader, continue to keep your eyes out for those leaders who aren't quite sure and ask them to take their next role. That is how we are going to continue to build a phenomenal city.
Congratulations. Good luck.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you, Paul Helmke, for moderating. Thank you, Mayor Thompson. One more time, both of them. Great. Very candid remarks from the mayor. We appreciate her taking time out of her busy schedule to join us today. I also want to provide another big thanks to our sponsors for making this event possible. Some more applause for our sponsors. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. We value your support at the Chamber as we work to build a better business and a better community. As always, the Chamber docket is full with a wonderful series of events coming up. Let me get some plugs in for that. On Tuesday, April 16th, join us for Elect Connect, where we will be holding our candidate forum. Meet at Upland Brewing Company's wood shop from 5 p.m. to 7 o'clock. This event will give you a chance to hear from candidates on the primary ballot in contested races. Unlike some other forums here you've seen, ours is going to be an opportunity to mingle with candidates, network with elected officials in a very relaxed atmosphere. Next, on Thursday, April 18th, Herlo Wealth Management Group will be hosting our April Business After Hours. You won't want to miss that, as their beautiful building on Hagen and Street with a theme of game night will be featured. We hope to see you there from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. And if you've not seen the work Hurlo has put into that third floor renovation, you need to see it. Then join us for YPB Boss and Build Team Building Luncheon. This is an engaging and dynamic event designed to foster connections and team synergy among young professionals and their boss colleagues. The lunch will be on Thursday, April 25th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the beautiful Graduate Hotel. Making its debut this year is our Valor Awards we're excited about. This is a prestigious ceremony dedicated to honoring our brave first responders, firefighters, police officers, and dispatchers. The event will spotlight their courage and selflessness of these everyday heroes. One individual from each sector will be recognized for their exemplary service. The event will be presented by our good friends at Old National Bank and the Weddle Brothers. It will be held right here on the Convention Center on Wednesday, May 8th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Registration will begin Tuesday, April 9th for this event, so don't miss that one. You can register that event and all the others at our website at chamberbloomington.org. Lastly, I know you're saying finally, you'll find the Chamber's newest publication, the Connect Bloomington, on your tables. Please take those with you, and if you would like any from our office, stop by our Chamber headquarters to pick up a box, and if you ask me, I would gladly drop off a box at your business or doorstep, wherever you need it. And with that, thank you all for coming. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. Thank you.